Okay, welcome to 4.6. We're almost done with the chapter. So in 4.6 we're going to deal with special products. And products means we're going to multiply. I'm going to show you some good techniques, okay? So FOIL method is my favorite. I showed you a little bit on the other one, but this lays it out a little bit better for you to see. Instead of trying to distribute through, when you have two binomials, this makes it easier to do. So it's two binomials and it's easier to combine, and we're going to practice this, so don't freak out. So it's called first. We multiply the first one, so x times x squared gives us x to the third. Then we're going to do outer. That gives us 3x. We're going to do inner. That gives us a positive 4x squared. And then we're going to do last, and that gives us a positive 12. So when we're done, we gather like terms if we can. If we can't, we're finished. And in this particular case, we can't gather any like terms. So we're all done. Now, rule of thumb is to arrange them in descending order, but I won't count off. But if you had to arrange it in descending order, you're going to get x to the third plus 4x squared plus 3x plus 12. Okay? Again, we're going to multiply, so we're going to do the first, outer, inner, last. So first, we get x squared. Outer, we get 5x. Inner, we get 8x. And last, we get positive 40. And then we're going to gather like terms if we can. So I get x squared plus 13x plus 40. Again, first, we get y squared. Outer, we get negative 3y. Inner, we get positive 4y. And then last, we get negative 12. So we're going to gather like terms. So we get y squared plus y minus 12. And we're finished with that one. Again, we're going to multiply. So first, so we get 10t to the fifth. Outer, so it gives us a negative 5t to the third. Inner, that gives us a positive 8t to the third. And then last, gives us a negative 4t. Gather like terms, we get 10t to the fifth plus 3t cubed minus 4t. So let's do this one. So we get 4 times 8, which is 32. Outer gives us a negative 20x cubed. Inner gives us a 24x. And then last gives us a positive 15x to the fourth. So when we gather like terms, there's not any to gather. So typically you're going to arrange these in descending order or ascending order. If the original binomials are arranged in descending order, then your answer should be done that way. So I'm going to rewrite these. So I get 32 minus 24x minus 20x cubed plus 15x to the fourth. I promise you I'm not going to penalize you on the order part unless I'm specifically telling you to do that. Alright, product of the sum and difference of two terms. If you see a plus b times a minus b, we're just going to do a shortcut method and we're just going to square them and drop in a subtraction sign. This is a shortcut. You can still do these long ways. It's faster if you recognize the shortcut, but if you're more comfortable doing the long ways, then by all means do the long ways and FOIL it. But let's look. What is x squared? Really, it's just x squared. What is 8 squared? It is 64, and you drop in a negative sign. Now let me show you why this works by doing it the long way. You get x times x, which is x squared, x times negative 8, which is negative 8x, plus a positive 8x, and last but not least, a negative 64. These two terms drop out, just simply leaving x squared minus 64. That's why this product works, so we can just simplify it and make it a lot easier on ourselves. So 6 squared is 36. And then 5w squared, think about it this way, 5w squared is 25w squared, right? So we're just going to subtract 25w squared. Okay. Now 4t cubed, which is squared, you got to square this and you have to add those, remember? You multiply those. So that gives us 16t to the 6th. So I want to make sure you saw where that came from. So you get 16t to the 6th minus, what is 3 squared? Very good, 9. So the square of a binomial, if it's a plus and if it's a minus, we work it a couple of different ways. This is always the same here and here as what's in the original. And then this will always be plus. Okay? So it's going to make sense when we work on it. Don't freak out yet. Again, you can do it the old-fashioned way, and let me show you what happens if we do so you understand where all this comes from. This is simply saying 8 plus 8, or x plus 8 squared. So you write down 2 times. First gives us x squared. Outer gives us plus 8x. Inner gives us plus 8x. And then last is plus 64. So you get x squared plus 16x plus 64. So if you can remember this, you're going to say x squared, multiply these two together, which is 8x, and then you double that. So that gives you 16x plus 16x, and then you square the last term. Or, yeah, this one here. You square it, and that is 64. And you're finished. So in this one, we're going to have y squared. Negative 7 times y gives us negative 14, and then we're going to double that. I'm sorry, negative 7 times y gives us negative 7y, and we're going to double that. So that gives us negative 14y, and then you're going to square negative 7, which is simply 49. Drop my addition sign in there. So 4x squared is going to be 16x squared. Now, if we multiply 3x to the 5th and then 4x, that gives us 12x and then x to the 6th, right? So now we have, and you double that, so that's going to give us 24x to the 6th. So I just want to make sure you're paying attention where that comes from. The sign stays the same, so the negative comes down. So it's negative 24x to the 6th. And then we have 3x to the 5th squared, so you get 9x to the 10th. So that's plus 9x to the 10th. That one looked a little bit different, didn't it? So these are the rules to go by if you're going to multiply polynomials, the questions to ask yourself. So, for example, let's look at A. What do you notice about those? They're binomials and they're identical except for plus and addition, so I know a shortcut. I'm going to square the first term, I'm going to square the second one, and then I'm just going to drop in a negative sign. What do you notice about this one? They're completely different except for the W, so I'm going to FOIL. So first, outer, inner, and then last. So then I'm going to gather like terms, and you are done. Now these are the same. This is the same as saying this right here. So let's look at that if we know that's the way it is. We take the first term, we're going to square it. We're going to multiply 9 times x. That gives us 9x, and then we're going to double that. That gives us 18x. And then we're going to square the 9, which is simply 81. On this one, we just have to distribute through all the way through, writing from the bottom since I don't have enough room at the top. So 3x squared times 4x squared gives us 12x to the 4th. 3x squared times x gives us 3x cubed. And then 3x squared times the negative 2 gives us a negative 6x squared. And we're finished with that. Alright, let's look at E. I'm just going to distribute through. So I get p to the third. Then I get plus 3p squared. And then I get negative 2p. I go up under the bottom and I get a plus 2p squared. And distribute over here and I get a plus 6p. And then I distribute again and then I get a minus 4. So I'm going to add everything together. So I wind up with p to the third plus 5p squared plus 4p minus 4. Okay. So now I have 4x squared, because remember we take this, we square it, now we multiply these two together and then we double it. So that gives us 2x, and we're going to double it, so that gives us 4x. And then we square 1, and 1 is a perfect square. So I hope you're staying caught up, and this ends, I think we said 4-6. Sometimes I even lose myself when we get to the end. Alright, good luck. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me.